Alright guys, like I said, I'm busting these out. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, what are we talking about? I just forgot. Okay, so let's talk about my first teaching opportunity. So I had my first teaching experience about 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, I took flight to Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs, New York, where I graduated from. And I presented a workshop called Be Well, Creating Space and Wellness for Women and LGBTQ Identities. I loved it. It was like such a great experience. The entire weekend I'm talking about. It was so needed. It was so appreciated. I had a blast. It was amazing. It was so great to be back on campus, to see some of my friends that are still in undergrad, and then see some of my friends that are alum as I am, and just connect with them and just have a good time. We always have a good time together, so it really was a great time. I left with tears of joy and just so much. I just felt like refreshed, and I felt affirmed and confident what I'm doing, and just super excited. I loved it. So for context, the conference that I went to was called Envisioning Liberation. So when I was in college, my senior year, 2015, myself and some other students, we produced a conference called Get to Freedom, Organize. And it was a conference created by students of color for students and faculty of color at Skidmore College. I don't know if it's the first, I can't make that claim, but I believe it was the first, or at least how we did it, it was the first of its kind. And we had a great time organizing it, and it was just so affirming to like be a part of a group who was dedicated to creating space for communities of color and offering so many tracks and different ideas and subjects to discuss. So we had things about wellness and self-care. There is things connecting music to literature. There was my workshop I did that year. I don't even remember the name. My senior thesis was about basically gender expression and societal markings of certain clothes and how we use clothes and fashion to express ourselves through gender, or express our gender. I forgot the name of the workshop, but my workshop was about that. And it was awesome. I really had a good time with that too. So one of the students that attended that conference that we put on in 2015 was inspired and also wanted to create a space. She created this conference called Envisioning Liberation. I always keep messing up on the word. And it was modeled after the conference that we did in 2015. So it was really great to kind of come back as one of the, I was gonna say old heads, but not old heads, of one of the original crew members. And it was really dope. I mean, her conference was the bomb. Like, our conference was good in 2015, but her conference was the bomb. Like, it was really awesome. They had a great keynote. A lot of things were taken care of. She was constantly in communication with me and always checking in and keeping me posted, which I loved. So for my workshop, I did 2 classes. I did a 10 o'clock to 11, and then I did the 11 to 12. So my workshop was basically about talking about wellness and spaces created for wellness, and who's included in that conversation and who's included in that space, and whether said directly or indirectly, who's not included in those spaces. It started off with me doing about a 13-minute yoga sequence. We did about 3 minutes of meditation, and then I did like a 10-minute yoga sequence. And I wanted to do something light because, one, it was my first time teaching. Also, the students were there for the workshop, so they had the whole rest of the day to go. So I wasn't trying to do anything too crazy and have people uncomfortable in their clothes or not able to participate. So I kept it very simple. We started off with that, and then which was great. And like, I was so nervous. I wasn't nervous like outwardly. I'm not like a very outward nervous showing person, but on the inside I was like, don't fuck up. So I'm really happy that it went smooth, and I think that was like enough challenge for me for my first time. So after that, I did like a quick PowerPoint presentation, basically taking folks through what my wellness journey looked like. And I titled it like From Food to Mind, because I essentially started off in wellness with food, and then I started to kind of expand what wellness meant. And it's not just about the Fuji. A lot of people are vegans and have a shitty mind, you know, like it's really, I started to look at it as at a holistic perspective. and seeing how all the different parts of wellness come together, how they can work together, and really challenging myself on the things that I wasn't trying to touch on and kind of touching on those. Talked about that. I just talked about what meditation was, which is essentially just breathing, where your breath is. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. When I used to think about meditation, I'm thinking, all right, if I'm not levitating, this shit is not going right. You know, I learned that it doesn't have to be you levitating for it to work. Talking about a little bit about yoga. And then I kind of went rushed to that because I really wanted to talk to people, but I wanted to give them a little bit of a, coming from, you know, academic backgrounds, like, I want to give you the history, I want to give you like that foundation. So it was great. I love that I could talk about it in that way and felt comfortable talking about it. That was dope. And then I moved on to our discussion questions, which we had 3 questions. Or no, was it 3? I'm like blanking on what all they were, but essentially they were around, when you think of wellness, who do you see? And then followed was, who don't you see? To you, is it important to have wellness spaces separated in affinity groups? So by race, by gender, by sexuality or anything like that. Is that important to you? If so, why? If so, why not? If not, why not? And then I forgot what the other question was, but it was something along those lines, like wellness, who do you see, who don't you see, what do you need in that space? Oh yeah, that was the question. In a wellness space, what do you need? And that was kind of for myself, because as I'm working on Beyond the Clouds and how I want to expand this platform, I wanted to know with my target audience, what do you need in a wellness space? What is going to catch your eye? What is going to keep you coming back? What's going to make you feel seen, included, and considered? We had a great conversation. Both my sessions were so well. My first session, I had 7 students, and then my second session, I had 3 students. And they were all women and genderqueer people, so I was like in heaven. I was so happy that like my folks came, and it was great. It was so great, and there were so many different perspectives shared and different things that I hadn't thought about, and so it was really exciting just to have that conversation, be able to lead this conversation about that, because this was kind of one of my first like public conversations about wellness, and based on a workshop that I curated myself. It was an honor. Like, I'm still on a high from that, and that was 2 weeks ago. So if you guys are watching this video, I thank y'all so much. Like, thank you for coming to my workshop. There were so many good workshops. Oh my gosh, you could have went to any one. So I thank you for taking 45 minutes out your schedule during the conference to come to mine, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I thank you for all the feedback that you all gave me at the end of the class. And I have not forgot to send the presentation. I'm going to send it. But yeah, it was awesome. So I just wanted to give you guys not a heads up, but a review about how that went. It was a great time, and I'm so excited to do it again. Like, I really felt in my element. Yeah, and it was great. I was with my people. It was just great. It was great. It was great. Yeah, I think that was really all the thoughts. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Maybe I will make a video of me doing the sequence that I presented at the workshop. Like I said, I'm getting my yoga teacher certification, and my program is 9 months, and I just started last month. So I have quite a while to go, so I'll have a lot of things to share. That's partially also why I made this YouTube channel, so I'll keep you guys posted. Alright, hope y'all could see me, because I feel like this was not focusing on my face. I don't really know, but you could hear me at least. Alright, bye guys, see you later, peace out.